How's business?
We had a very nice Q1, and I see plenty of red and orange out there. So
yeah, that's the key, isn't it? I mean, which categories within your portfolio do you think will have strong growth in 2017 and 2018 in key markets?
Well, if you look at 16 and the beginning of 17, it's our global priority brands, which are growing much faster than the company average, as well as a certain subset of our regional priority brands, particularly Tequila, Espolòn Tequila, Bulldog Gin, Glen Grant, Single Malt.
We're going to be talking about tequila in just a minute. I want to talk about Grand Marnier, the big acquisition, of course. Your biggest ever last year, $760 million. You say you're going to make some small cosmetic tweaks to the brand's packaging. Can you give us an idea of the work that's being done on the packaging when drinkers themselves will be able to see that on the shelves?
We spent a little bit more than a year doing a lot of research with consumers as well as barmen in 12 nations around the world, many cities. With regards to the packaging, it's just going to be a slight evolution to really clarify and communicate in a much more determined way the quality cues and the cognac provenance of the liquid, because Grand Marnier is 51% cognac, and that's a big difference versus its main competitor.
Yeah.
And we'll obviously dial up the premium cues, but the iconic bottle shape is not going to change, the wax seal, none of that is going to change.
What about the reinvigoration of other brands? I mean, how's that going, such as Wild Turkey, Bourbon?
Wild Turkey is doing very nicely with the Matthew McConaughey partnership. He's really injecting quite a bit of energy.
How much does it gain from that sort of partnership?
Well, that is obviously off the records between him and us, enshrined in a contract.
It's the product, not him. How much does the product gain from? How do you choose McConaughey?
Well, actually, he sort of chose us, or we chose each other. He's, he's from Texas. His parents, I think, grew up or met in Kentucky. He knew the brand, loved the brand, and he actually contacted us first, and then we built up a dialogue and then found a way to make the partnership work.
When it comes to brands, I mean, the obvious brand collaboration that's been in the news lately is George Clooney, the tequila brand, Casamigos. I mean, founded 4 years ago, sold for $1 billion to Diageo. Some saying the sums don't add up. I mean, are you scratching your head when you read about this?
Well, if I read those numbers in that brand, I wonder how much more our brand Espolòn is worth.
Yeah. And how much do you think it is worth?
Espolòn would be worth a lot more than Casamigos.
Yeah, I mean, do you look at this sort of evolution of this brand in just 4 years, going from nothing to $1 billion brand? I mean, does it make sense to you? I mean, others outside the world of spirits might think...
You know, beauty is in the eyes of the beholder. So, I mean, we wouldn't have attached that valuation to it. But then again, you know, it's our industry leader doing it, so they must have a reason to do it.
Yeah.
On the other hand, we've taken a brand from scratch and driven it to a volume which is more than twice Casamigos, and it's growing at 36, 50%, depending on the month. So quite a bit of value there as well.
And on your Espolòn, you know, tequila brand, when it comes to U.S. trade policy, the Remy Cointreau chief executive said she'd be a little worried right now if she was a tequila producer, given what the president, Donald Trump, has said about levies on Mexican goods. I mean, are you worried at all or not?
Well, first of all, we'll have to see what happens. There's a lot of talk, but not much happening. On the other hand, tequila as a category is very, very hot in the United States, 100% agave. It's gone from being just, you know, a shot into becoming really a high-end spirit, which you drink either mixed or on its own. So I think whatever comes will obviously impact all of the players and then might impact the prices for everybody, but I don't think that the U.S. consumers first for such an amazing spirit as tequila will change.
And what about bourbon? Because on U.S. trade policy, there's a bit of concern out there about bourbon producers. They worry their growth abroad is going to be jeopardized. I mean, coming back to Wild Turkey, is that a growth fear going forward?
Well, Europe weighs very, very little on Wild Turkey at this stage. It's mostly U.S., Australia, New Zealand, and Japan. So it wouldn't really impact our numbers at all. But on the other hand, I think that overall, clearly, we're for free trade, and we think everybody benefits from free trade.
So if you're not worried about Mexico, you're not worried about Trump's bark, maybe it's louder than his bite. Is mezcal starting to invest in, you know, Pernod, recent acquisition, Del Maguey, Bacardi building up its stake in Illegal. Is mezcal the next thing for you?
I think mezcal is going to remain very, very small. The problem with mezcal is that, I mean, it's an amazing liquid, and there's a lot of mixologist interest for the liquid. The issue is that mezcal is a very artisanal product, and it's, you know, some of those brands, which are tiny, they actually require 100 different farmers to supply them with mezcal. Okay, so if you want to scale that up from 20,000 cases to 200,000 cases, I mean, you're going to need thousands of farmers, and the quality varies enormously over time. So I don't think it is anything which you can really scale up or turn into, you know, a more mainstream, serious business.
Just coming back to the Grand Marnier acquisition, I think we've talked before about this, the Villa Les Cèdres on the French Riviera, which
it's
of course
yours if you don't have it.
I want it. I've just got to borrow 300 million, but it's on the Riviera. What's the story? I mean, Savills are offering viewings. How's it all going? Give us an update.
There is some interest there, but clearly it's one of the world's most expensive pieces of real estate, so it might take some time.
Can you sell it by the end of the year? Give us times. Give us times.
I don't know really, because frankly, the deal we did with the Grand Marnier family is that they would be driving the sale of it.
Right.
So we know how much we would get. The first 120 million, which become 80 million after tax, are ours.
Yeah.
And any upside is the family's.
And what do you do with the money when it comes in, if and when?
Well, you know, we have a pretty good track record with acquisitions.
Yeah, let's talk about acquisitions. Consolidation among the major spirits players. Is it going to happen, or are we talking about niche craft brands?
Well, I think, you know, looking in the short to mid-term, it's probably going to be more with the niche craft or middle-sized companies as opposed to the larger players.
Which brands then? Which categories maybe are you underrepresented in right now?
Well, we think geography, not category.
Yeah.
And if you look in terms of category, we practically cover everything except for cognac and Irish whiskey. On cognac, with Grand Marnier, we're one of the largest purchasers of cognac, so we could do something organically if we wanted to. And on the other hand, our view is that there's one phenomenal brand in Irish whiskey, not really a category yet. And there are a lot of new distilleries coming on stream. So we would have some concern that 3-4 years down the road, the world would be awash with Irish whiskey.
Yeah. Are you going to sell any of your brands?
Well, we're constantly looking at, you know, refurbishing, reviewing, fine-tuning the portfolio. We've sold non-core businesses in the past. We'll see.
Yeah. So the big deals among the big players, no. When might the time be right for that? You know, maybe two of the big four hooking up. Possible or not?
You know, you have a lot of, at this stage, you've got one 100% public company, and the rest have families involved, and it's very difficult to predict when families are involved.
Got to talk about Manchester United. I was quite excited when I read that you had this partnership, Aperol Spritz, with Manchester United. It was a 3-year partnership.
We had a fantastic partnership.
How was it? How did that come about? They came to you?
They were great at getting us excited and involved, and they've been phenomenal partners. They're really very, very professional people, and they've done quite a bit in enabling us to build global brand awareness of the Aperol Spritz cocktail and of the Aperol brand.
How do you decide who's a sports partner? What goes into this?
Well, we did our research, and in their case, what was really decisive was, you know, the global footprint they have of their fan base and how many people and where are watching them every time they play. Yeah,
well, I'm one of them. Final question, something about politics in Italy, your domestic market. Clearly, we're approaching an election. The political backdrop, you're obviously aware of it, but how difficult does it make for you, given there's always...
Look, let me put it this way. Our Italian business is one of the most solid parts of the company. We're more than 4 times bigger than the second player in the market. Last year was the first year the market grew slightly. In the past 10 years, it declined. And despite that, we've been growing our business steadily and by taking market share. Yeah. So I feel pretty good, and we tend to ignore all the background noise coming from politics.
Do you ignore all the background noise coming from the banking industry? I mean, clearly the banking industry has been in the news lately with bailouts or whatever you want to call them of various lenders. The economy clearly needs the banking sector. to grow. This is obviously a great
well,
sign.
I think some very positive measures have
Mm.
been taken and are being executed as we speak. Having said that, you know, we just focus on making sure people have red or orange glasses in their hands and look at things with a smile.
What's the big thing in mixology? In the
mixology, the future, I think, it's still, for the foreseeable future, is going to be classic cocktails, the likes of the Negroni, of the Sidecar, where Marnier is playing, the old-fashioned. Actually, we have, our brands are skewed to the top 10 classic cocktails, so we feel good about that going forward.
Thanks for joining us.